Going again.
Yeah, nav 060 continues to be directly upslope. And I'm
Conference call is still disconnected.
Okay.
passing
Full
you
wide.
up there, Jeff.
Got to be on my way.
Yep. Work a little bit north and up, and
Copy that, north and up.
ROV nav, can I get a range and bearing to waypoint 3, please?
I'll swing my head over and give you a little help here.
Pushing north and east.
There you are.
Great, thank you. That's slow and steady. That's what we want. Thank you.
Looking 77 degrees down. And my head is east-southeast.
No, Amanda, there is not much particulate matter in the water column. It's been very clear, except for the sediment we've been kicking up ourselves. It's quite clear. A lot of sargassum on the seafloor, though, and that sargassum's been on the move. So it's pretty clear that we've now here's the first evidence we've got of a little more consolidated material.
It's steepening up here. I would leapfrog ahead.
Okay. Pushing ahead. Just give Jamie a view of that.
Yeah, this is the first evidence we've had for a slightly more consolidated seafloor, and we're at the base of this steeper part of the slope.
Conference call has been reestablished.
Thank you, video.
Copy
So,
that.
Amanda, your perception that we've got a clumpier sediment here is confirmed. We've got looks to be a platier, slightly harder material at the seafloor. Some of it is giving away, and
Center.
Snap sound, please.
We have another
there we go.
branching.
Is that a bamboo coral?
Don't have much
No,
time
I'm not
here.
sure.
I think
Oh,
I'm
we went past it.
down the whole way. I just don't have the time to hang out. Sorry.
Not sure what kind it was.
Okay.
Need you to move.
Yep.
Quite quickly.
Possibly branching sponge, is what Scott says, which was my first thought because I didn't see any polyps.
Moving.
Looking south.
Okay. Headed east. Now I'm headed northeast.
Yeah.
Headed up slope.
Stephanie, if you were right about that sponge,
A little bit of a
or about
dash,
that
get
branching
uphill.
Copy.
organism being a sponge,
Yeah.
Andrea, I gather you have some students with you today. When they're ready to ask questions, fire away. We'll do our best.
A lot more vert.
Starting to get to the steeper part of the slope now, and you can tell by
Confirm
looking
your
at the
full
serious
wide
view
pilot,
of D2
co-pilot.
that the
Roger
that slope is starting to steepen up. I think things could get more interesting here in terms of the nature of sediment. Gravity will start to play a role, and some of that sediment may move down slope. We may see more evidence for hard ground material. Slopes tend to be maintained with harder, more consolidated material, and this is a slope that in places is
Line
20
up on
degrees.
060
Hard to do
ahead.
that with completely unconsolidated material.
Okay.
I want to make
Much
a comment
better.
about that sponge, if that was really a sponge back there. That I just saw a publication earlier today on 4 species of sponges that were just described that were predatory sponges, that they actually consume animals that get caught on their
Look at
branches.
25.
Yeah, you read the Sigma Xi updates
good.
just like
Now
I
we're
do.
happy.
So
Yeah. Well, we
pretty interesting.
got them from one of our marine
rolling back
sanctuaries
with
on the
you.
West Coast. They were found in there. I guess some of them were anyway.
Yeah.
So I got the announcement
See
from
the
them.
slope?
I don't read as high level as you do, apparently.
Oh no, not at all.
We have some I've been from a cruise a year ago just off
Turn
Holy
back,
Ridge
sorry,
in
direction,
deep
move.
water, about 500 meters. We got some video and collections of one of those new species. They're very odd looking, alien looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, where was that, John?
Off Holy Ridge, off the southwest Florida shelf.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Bill and I were also debating over lunch.
060 is
What the
straight
role
up
this
there.
sargassum might play? We're not seeing a lot here, but you were at the base of the escarpment there. What role that might play in the deep sea and the relative contribution of carbon via sargassum versus other sources of carbon down there from above?
Well, we've certainly seen more sargassum at the seafloor today than I've ever seen in the Gulf of Mexico before.
Snap zoom.
Snap zoom.
Yeah, but it's such a
Haven't seen one
common
of these
entity
yet
in
on
the
this
surface
night.
of the Gulf that it must show up a lot at
Ooh.
various places around the
Ooh.
Gulf on the seafloor.
If you can get a good
And it
shot of that,
provides,
that'd be
you know,
great.
Not just the carbon, but
That's
the
fine.
habitat for a lot of little shrimp and so forth, and maybe even affects the movement or distribution of those animals by its
Pretty
own
high up
movement.
there.
Yeah,
Drifting off.
absolutely.
So this is a sea urchin,
Is it really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Fly
Fantastic.
down
Sorry.
to
and
it.
if it's
Can
the
you,
one I think it
forward.
is, it should be
Forward, please?
extremely venomous.
It's a sea urchin.
Can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I think we're going to zoom in a little better on him. Or try to at least.
ROV nav, when we're done with that move, let's stop
Okay, roll.
and make sure that we're not going too fast up this slope now.
Hey, he's moving forward.
Oh yeah, look at him. He's working his way up.
Cool.
We call it the Sisyphus, because he goes up and then he slides back down again.
Yeah, he's in the genus Phyrosoma, according to Scott.
Fantastic. Look at that. I've never seen one of those.
Yeah.
Got your
Beautiful.
tilt.
Thanks.
Look at him go.
Drifting backwards.
Copy that. Push
Urchins
in.
are usually really slow. This is probably fast, really one of the really fastest ones I've seen.
That's the fastest urchin I've ever seen.
You're
It's amazing.
Just,
Beautiful.
rotating on your skid. Just,
I've got my left toe
yeah.
poked in.
So are those appendages? Are they for flotation? Are they for stabilization? What would those be for?
I think they're venomous. They're
So they would actually catch prey
yeah.
with those. They're
Yeah,
like nematocysts or something that.
Well, the spines, the spines are
That's
definitely
defensive.
Venomous.
Well, that would be
Yeah.
defensive, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just mean the wings. The wings are. That's pretty.
The sacks,
Very nice looking.
inflatable sacks.
Very nice looking.
Catching up to you.
Okay, just gonna rotate this.
Hey, Rolly, have you got a zoom on Sirius?
No, full wide on Sirius.
Yeah. Probably getting.
Great.
Okay.
Well, that one makes the
Time
highlight
to
reels
go.
today.
Let's lift off full wide.
Pulling full wide.
Got my tilt back.
Mike Vecchione's comment is that it's a flat
look at
urchin
this
with a party hat. Mike's got his funny comments out
Really
today.
got it.
This is good.
Turning left.
Even though we haven't found him a single
Going up.
cephalopod yet, which I feel sorry for because Mike's really knowledgeable about cephalopods and we haven't found him a single one yet. Another halosaur wager.
Yep.
We're now at a depth of 1,872 meters, moving our way up slope here on the outer of two interfacing walls, the steeper of the two interfacing walls, and flanking the axis of Keathley Canyon, where we've been diving today with the Deep Discoverer ROV of the Okeanos Explorer.
Getting stretched out now.
Okay. Look around again.
We're still headed up slope. What's the distance to waypoint 3?
It was 200 and something meters. It's still in that order, 250, I'd say, something on that order. We're moving at 0.2 knots, and I'm having him stop the ship after this next move so that we're not losing our chance to zoom in on things. We can be more consistent. We don't have to move up consistently at point 2. We can do a point 2 move and move and look and move and look. We've got time. Got over 2 hours still on the seafloor here.
Some bioturbation in the upper left.
Another pretty good sized burrow structure it looks like in front of us there. And as you can tell from looking at that burrow, we are looking at a slightly more consolidated sediment at the seafloor. You see that clumpiness. You're looking at an organism that's having to do a little bit more than just burrow through soft mud. See, this mud's got a little consistency to it. Another halosaur, maybe the same one that's been following us.
Okay.
Something fuzzy on your left just went off screen.
You know, ROV nav, why don't we amend that, and you can put a ship move in, but let's do it at 1/10 of a knot and 090.
Potential coral.
Snap it.
You're smarter than me. There's another. I'm gonna get a zoom on that boy. It looks like another.
Swiftia possibly?
Another Swiftia maybe. Yeah, octocoral.
Hold it, Rolly. I'll see if I can get back to it.
I don't hear you, pilot. You're a little soft.
There's some more halosaur on the top right.
Okay, let's go back in on it.
Have to drop down.
Yeah.
Oh, you're muted.
Going to get a close-up of that Swiftia, already flagged by Scott and Andrea Quattrini. Haven't seen too much sessile biota today. This is the second Swiftia, I think. We saw one toppled bamboo, Carl.
Maximum zoom. Can't pull out any detail at this distance.
A little
They can tell
harder
what it is.
substrate.
Want me to pull out?
I'm tilted all the way down, so it's just because I'm pointed down slope. I can't get there from here.
Yep. Big fish to your left.
That's all right, guys.
Yeah.
I think we pretty much flagged it. That's why I want to slow down though, so we've got time to take a good look at what's here.
Looks like a sizable halosaur. He's different.
You can zoom it.
You see zoom?
Yep.
You're very,
Is
very
it a
soft
road
over
tool or
there.
something?
I don't know why.
Is that what I was told earlier?
Microphone's right in front of my face.
Rat tail. Macaurid. That's what it's called. He's kind of got a personality, doesn't he?
You can just let him go out of the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like fish fossils you saw in the Devonian 400 million years ago. Doesn't look like it's changed very much.
Not if he doesn't want to.
Just we get them all to operate that way. All right, full wide.
Okay.
Straight flying on that one.
Thanks.
I'm looking north.
So I got to come to the right. Coming to the right.
Brian is saying that this is a really deep site for Swiftia. So either that is not Swiftia, or we've expanded its depth range. Oh, Andrew says it's not too deep. They're debating on the event log.
Bringing my head east. I am not. Okay. Looking 060 right now.
So we're traveling at 0.1 knots up this slope still. We're thinking it's going to get to about 30 degrees, give or take. Maybe 20.
You're still way off the reservation there, pilot.
You need to come to the right.
Yep.
Okay. Coming home.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, no rush here.
I'm looking 060 right now. It's coming up the hill.
Yeah, we're on the beginning to get to the steeper part of this slope now, which will be true from here until waypoint 3. We'll spend the balance of the dive another hour and 2 hours and 15 minutes or so on this slope, and we'll take it nice and easy and see what we have to see. This is the Okeanos Explorer.
Little squat lobster.
Could use a zoom on that feature to the upper right. Don't know what it is. I'm hoping it could be rock or something close to rock. Yeah, it looks like
we got some corals on it. Some white ones.
Something dead on it, maybe? Old tube worms?
Got some translucent.
Yep. Possibly some Nidarians. Or tube worms, I'm not really sure.
That is
come down from somewhere.
An hexactinellid on the back, a small ball.
Is that potentially a dead coral skeleton that may have rolled downhill?
What?
Pulling out.
Well, it's nice to see a small piece of rock here. However small it may be, whether it's been exhumed or brought down from on high, we'll see. We're going to be transiting up this slope here slowly. We're at a water depth now of 1,846 meters. Climbed about 154 meters since the beginning of the dive.
Take another look at it from this angle.
Those little white spot lobsters that you see are a genus called Munidopsis. So there's something like 30 species, and it's almost impossible to tell them apart.
I couldn't hear you.
I don't know how I can be
The squat lobsters, you said?
You can be, because
that's right.
I've got you at +6 now in my ear.
He's good in my headset, Rolly.
Okay.
Oh, there's a small anemone underneath that, too. Looks like at some point this was alive, branching.
So it's amazing
creature.
how biology finds a way. They find something to the
family as the ones that are on the corals.
Okay.
Jeez.
Just a little bump in weight.
And that happens when nobody's touching it.
Yeah, it's
A feature.
Little
It's
barnacle.
like a
barnacle.
gooseneck barnacle.
Oh, looks like a barnacle, right? Lower right, yeah.
Zoom on that barnacle, if you will.
yeah.
Can we get a zoom on that barnacle, that white
That is
white shell
maximum
right in
zoom.
front of you, Jeff?
Barnacle
Max
too.
zoom.
Are we at max zoom? We're at max zoom, John. So I think everybody tends to forget how
Sorry.
small these targets actually are until you zoom back out and realize.
Oh, maybe 10, 15
Belongs to a
centimeters.
family called the Scalpellidae, but Steve is your expert.
On the barnacle?
Steve Giddies? Yeah.
Don't tell them that.
See, I love this. I don't want you biologists to fight out there. No fighting.
Go get the barnacle.
When somebody calls you an expert, just say yes.
Say thank you.
And say thank you. That's right.
Maximum zoom.
So these small white pile-up things might be hydroids.
Yeah, we're getting a little closer to this. That's why I slowed the ship down so that what we do see, we can get a good hard looks at.
Is there a chance that the substrate that these are growing on is a cemented burrow or something? What do you think?
Well, I mean, we've got burrows at the seafloor, Bill. We're seeing platey sediment, where I've got steeper slopes, the plates are breaking off and sliding down slope. Whether we've got some biologically cemented surficial sediment, I don't know, but I haven't seen, I'm not seeing a lot of burrows in the platey sediment when it lets go. So I really can't say.
Okay,
That looks like an exhumed set of burrows, though. If I were tempted, I'd say the entire thing is a series of cemented burrows that have been exhumed at the seafloor.
get the barnacle.
Well, that's pretty nice. That's a nice zoom there.
Like I've seen when they would cast burrows in shallow water.
Right.
It looks something.
Yeah, they look like
that. I don't know
decapod
if they-
shrimp burrows in shallow water.
Yes.
So the nearest I could figure on that barnacle is probably an arcoscalpellum. It's a little hard to see if you
Let's
can't see
take a
the
look at
side
the
of it,
whole
but we're looking at one end of it. But there's one arcoscalpellum portoricanum that's in the Gulf that this looks pretty close to.
And then I'm being told that these polyps are actually octocoral polyps
Lost it.
by Scott.
I think we could move on, guys.
Happily.
Lest we lose the forest for the trees. You're getting kudos from the biologists for your Zoom skills, Jeff.
Oh, thanks, Jamie. It takes a team up here.
It's a team effort. But they were very happy with that.
Great.
We're climbing a slope now. We're at a depth of 1,844 meters. We're climbing a slope, the outer of two interfacing slopes on the east side of Keathley Canyon. We're in the latter third of Dive 4 of Expedition 3 of Okeanos Explorers 2014 set of mapping and ROV expeditions to the Gulf of Mexico. We've been looking today at the Keathley Canyon at mostly sedimented seafloor. We were thinking we might see some brine seeps and so on. That has not happened, but we've seen some corals, we've seen some fish, mostly soft sediment seafloor, and we're climbing the steepest slope we've seen today now. For the balance of the dive, we'll be in the water now for another 2 hours.
Coming to a stop.
So stick with us. This is the Okeanos Explorer.
Possible crinoid, maybe?
Okay,
Is
rolling.
this one of
Zoom in
those
on that.
swimming
Give me a
swimming
partial, please.
crinoids?
Yeah. Yeah, comatulate of some
Hold
type.
that.
Partial.
There you go. And
Wonderful.
he looks like he's sitting on something relatively hard.
Yeah. If Chuck Messing was on the
Maybe
line,
get
I'm sure he'd be
tether
able to
bounce
ID it
out
from
there.
this, but
Give you
I
what
don't know if he's
can.
watching today or not.
Do it a little tighter, Roy.
You need to center up.
Working on it.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, they are beautiful organisms, aren't they?
Dave, could you do tilt for me, please?
I'm just struck by how
Got your
old the lineage is for some of these organisms in the world. I mean, they've been around
Zoom.
in one form or another for hundreds of millions of years.
Yeah, they've found crinoids in the Burgess Shale
Yeah,
fossils.
it's amazing, you know. So that was what, 600 plus million years ago.
Mhm.
So it's incredible to me, really. You're looking at an organism that, because it's in the deep ocean where the environment doesn't change very much, is a legacy of a bygone era, and we're still seeing living examples of things that we found fossils of in rocks that are hundreds of millions of years old.
Okay,
I'm
pulling out
just
for a
always
full
struck
screen.
by that.
So, crinoids are actually related to starfish. I think that might be a little obvious. They look similar. The echinoderms. The radial symmetry.
But
That's
he's
full
got
screen. You can
9
hold that for a few
arms.
seconds.
And they don't all have 9 arms. Some of them
No.
have 5. Some of them have 6, right? Some have
10.
10.
Mm-hmm.
So
Depends on the species.
radial symmetry is the key, of course, but
Yep.
they
And
have
video's
various
clear.
numbers of arms
Pulling out.
depending
Okay,
on.
let's go full wide.
Full wide.
Yep. Species.
I
That
counted
one,
10.
I thought could have been 10. I thought I had not. Maybe there was one. Yeah, exactly. Maybe there were 10. That's great, guys. Good work.
Okay, are we moving?
We're moving.
Well, Nav.
Well,
Ship's
I
not
mean
moving.
the
Okay.
D2. Sorry. I'm not preconceiving what you're doing, Nav. But we can unzoom from there and continue to take a look around.
Okay.
That scar there
Copy
is from
that.
D2 taking a look
You are
at that crinoid. So.
way out there.
Okay, so let me just come over here, line up, and then it looks like it's time for a pilot change.
Yeah, time for another pilot change. We, here on the Okeanos Explorer, all of our ROV team get a chance to do everything. They navigate, they run the Sirius camera sled, and they pilot the D2, and that gives us redundancy, gives everybody training in all of the seats. Some of these guys don't need training, but others do, and it gives everybody a chance to drive, and it's a fun thing. I know better than to ask to drive, but a lot of these guys are good at what they do. 100 meters, it's fine.
Some bioturbation.
So we're going to go 090, is that correct?
I'd go to 095 now. Oh, it's pretty arbitrary, but I want to stay on the steepest part of the slope. So I might go to 095 rather than, head for waypoint 3.
Stand by. I'll measure it for you.
If you want to stay with 090, I'm okay with it. Yeah, and it looks 090 looks fine for me. So whatever you decide.
Just coming up on the scan. I think Jamie threw the dart, got lucky. Comes another scan. Okay, coming over to 095. Another
All
scan.
right, current depth is 1843 meters.
095 is
Salinity's
about
at
as straight uphill as I can
4.262.
measure from here.
I'm sorry, temperature 4.262 degrees Celsius. Salinity 34.960. We are still traveling up a 25 degree slope on the east side of the top of Keathley Canyon. Bottom is fairly consistent, soft, slightly consolidated sediment. Few animals. Saw one crinoid, 2 swiftia coral. A venomous sea urchin. Couple of shrimp. Here, we're going to move the ship a little bit so we can follow it and get to waypoint 3. We're doing a pilot switch at the moment.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, everybody.
Pilot, nav.
Co-pilot, nav, video. We have Roland for us down there for the afternoon. Okay.
Afternoon, Roland. So I hear the ship's moving.
That is correct. 0.1 knots at bearing 095 for 100 meters.
Roger.
All right, my heading's about 085, but I'm trying to get to 095.
Attention, ship store is now open. Ship store is now open.
Delta's 12, altitude's 19.
I'm going to see how auto altitude behaves as I come up slope. I'll take it easy. Let it keep up with me.
You'll have to figure out what to keep setting it to.
Auto altitude?
Well, as it gets steeper.
Hmm.
Yeah, what's the slope here compared to up at waypoint 3 nav?
Waypoint 3 is slightly steeper. This is, let's see.
Is this a sponge? Is this
Looks like a
something
sponge.
of interest to look at?
Yes, please zoom on to that.
Okay, stand by. I'll get closer.
Let's see, it's
Shrimp in the water.
So Carl, this is right now. This is 10 meters vertical for 25 meters horizontal.
Gotcha.
And up at waypoint 3, it's
Okay, video. Start a partial zoom. I'll let it float into the center.
14.
yeah 10 to 14,
Yep.
15.
Not quite
John, are you
45.
listening?
Yeah.
I believe this is it's definitely hexactinellid. And I think if it's the one I think it is, it's stalked, which means it's got a siliceous spines that stick into the ground.
Looks like a hexactinellid.
Yeah, is it the one? Is it the one? I can't remember the name of it. That sits on the stalk. It's siliceous. You know, it's siliceous
Stalk
spicules.
has zoanthids on it.
Yeah, and zoanthids
I
on the
believe.
base.
Usually they're much larger. Sometimes they get to be 2 or 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
And have a big head on them. Let me try to figure out what that might be.
Okay.
Roland, you want to go in tighter? See if I can hold it.
It's a glass sponge with zoanthids on the stalk. John, could it be
Pilot, you
Hylanema?
mind if I take your bubble cam for a spin around?
Go ahead.
Beautiful pilots, thank you.
Beautiful job, pilot.
Thanks, Roland. I'll let that go off screen and then
pulling out.
looks like Sirius has started to move over top. You have the camera
well,
pretty
not over
horizontal.
top. Yeah, my camera's 23 degrees.
Okay.
I really like the having the bubble cam on Sirius.
Mm.
You can see so much more than with the Mini Zeus.
We call that an aft PTZ or umbilical PTZ.
On Sirius?
Yes. Or unless you're talking the forward one.
On Sirius, I'm talking about the middle one.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So we call that
Sirius
PTZ.
PTZ.
So we're back on bare soft bottom.
I really like the Sirius PTZ.
There might be Pseudosticopus, which is a sea cucumber.
All right.
Carl, I like that Mini Zeus pointed straight down like you mentioned. I like that view. Gives a real good reference.
Yeah, and it's face up just like your camera. The ROV pilot, you know, it's sideways when it's forward, so it's disorienting.
Welcome everybody. We're on the Okeanos Explorer. We're in the middle of dive 4. We're climbing one of the inner walls facing Keathley Canyon. This
Okay,
is the outer of two walls we've
top of your screen, right?
slopes we've climbed today. We've been on a sedimented seafloor most of the time. A little more consolidation of the surface sediment here than in the axis of the canyon where everything was pretty soft. Very little in the way of rocks though. Virtually no outcrops.
Video to
slightly
change
consolidated
the,
material, but no outcrops.
PTZ controller,
and very few corals today.
Yes,
a couple of
correct.
octocorals,
Doesn't
one
seem to be working.
dead
And then
bamboo
two
coral on the
enters
axis of
the
the canyon.
second
But we're about to hit the steeper part of this slope. We're in the water here for another hour and 50 minutes or so. So stay with us and we'll see what we see as we climb this slope. Okeanos Explorer.
That's right.
Do we want another look
Just
at one of these
one
sponges, Stephanie,
into-
or keep on going? That's okay. Roland, we've got a request to take another look. I'm going to get a little closer first.
Okay.
This time I'm going to park it just as a practice for the other way to image. Floating versus parked.
Sponge is a little stalk, huh?
Yeah, as close as you can get to it, then I can show the crystals.
Okay.
Hey, Stephanie.
Go ahead in.
Zooming in.
Stephanie.
Got it on the top of my HD2
Yeah,
field
can
of
you hear
view.
me? I'm here. Yeah.
It's possibly the genus Hylanema.
Hylanema.
Hyalo.
Yeah, I think Bob's
common
pick.
to have these zoanthids growing on the stalk.
Yeah.
The stalk is just pure silicon fibers, almost pure as optical fibers, and it can grow up to about 3 feet tall.
Wonderful.
It has a little head on it.
That's me.
And it Hyloneema, and it probably grows on that stalk to get away from the sediment, do you think, higher in the water column?
Oh, sure. It's always in soft bottom.
Soft bottom?
Habitat.
Okay.
But sponges are filter feeders, right? So it wants to get off the turbidity that might be common here if it was sitting right on the sediment. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
We've got a stalk of one in my lab.
Yeah.
Where
when you're done here, it'll be time
the fibers, the silicon fibers that make up the stalk are, well, they're almost about 1 millimeter in diameter, but there's a whole series around each other like a cable.
Right.
Apparently,
you take control.
The silicon fibers are so pure that they can use it as optical.
Fiber optics?
Like fiber optics.
Oh, that's
awesome.
Great.
And they're trying to grow it in the lab to make like a biogenic fiber optic.
Beautiful.
Great zoom.
Come back.
Thanks, Todd.
Last year at the shipwreck sites, we had a Hyloneema sponge, stalk sponge as well, but it had slightly different morphology than this sort of slanted top, a little more open, but it did have the stalks and the zoanthids and a couple other critters living among the zoanthids, as I recall.
Push out.
Yeah.
And the soft sediments just beyond the shipwreck.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, they're beautiful. The ones I've seen have a different morphology on the top, too. So it's probably a different species than what I'm used to on the east coast of Florida.
Tommy was just Googling them, the Hyloneema, and he did see that there are two, well, probably more than 2 species, but 2 looks of.
Yeah.
One of them looks is like this, and the other has that slanted top.
Right. Looks more like a flower, kind of, or like a bath sponge.
We can see our comp gauges with the bubble.
So the zoanthids occupying the stem, they're just opportunists. They wander through and grab something that's up above the sediment and grow there.
Yeah. Hard surface.
I think so, but they seem ubiquitous when you see these, don't they?
Yeah, they're always together whenever I've seen them.
John, have you ever seen a stalk, an empty stalk?
I don't think so.
Upper right, please.
How they find each other is amazing.
Well, it makes me think the opposite. It makes me think of how many don't find anything. You know, the ones that are lucky find something. The ones that aren't lucky don't find anything.
Video co-pilot.
Great, co-pilot.
Yeah,
Looks like we might have an anemone up here.
I get the feeling the deep ocean's about opportunism. You know, when you get lucky, you find a place to live. If not, no.
I think there is an auto, but I do not know how to turn it on.
Hey guys, are you still experiencing a current up on this wall or no?
I think it will attempt to.
You know, where we've seen sargassum, we haven't actually physically checked it recently, but where we've seen sargassum, it's going by. I'll have him do a current test for us shortly when we get done with his zoom.
But you have to keep.
Go on in, and Carl, take control of tilt, please.
Okay.
Take it.
Another fly trap, yeah.
Actinoscyphia, so fly trap anemone. Looks like a.
Another one of these, it almost look like burrows that have been exhumed. I think Bill Keeney's right. I don't know if it's a rock as much as they are burrow structures that seem to have been pulled out of the sediment for one reason or another.
Maybe an octocoral? Looks like a small bamboo coral, according to Scott. And then we have another gooseneck barnacle.
Let's go down to the coral.
It looks almost like it's sitting on coral rubble, but I don't want to commit to that.
There we go.
Yep, just continue to rock left, just like you're going.
I'm not sure what, this looks like an octocoral to me, but I'm not sure what kind.
Perfect.
And then there's an anemone on the rock right behind it, a small clear white one. Yep, Scott's saying it's bamboo, a small bamboo coral.
That's great.
Pulling out.
I'm interested.
Let's just get a full screen if we can tilt up and rock right.
Sure.
Yeah, do you know what all those clear things were just below the barnacle?
It's going to be
Clear
bouncy.
tests?
I'm not sure. They look like, could they be pteropod shells?
Seen a lot of pteropods on the seafloor here. And but I'm kind of interested in
Yeah,
what
we
the
can just
overall
pull out
structure
the
is on
log.
which the anemone
Okay.
and the other organisms
Got
are
a baby
growing. They
star
almost
to
look
the
like
right.
exhumed burrow structures.
I'll push out in front of Sirius.
Yeah, it's about time.
Let's see if we see more of them.
Hill's coming up to me.
We're at a depth now of 1,836 meters. We're still slowly climbing this slope towards what we set out as waypoint 3, which is the approximate top of that slope, but not really. Keeps going.
Okay.
Little burrow.
Some bioturbation. Can we get a zoom on that?
Stand by.
Are these
Branch thing.
are these traces on the seafloor? These meandering traces, are they holothurians?
It's hard to tell. I mean,
Yeah.
you haven't really seen anybody making them.
No, it's true, but there seem to be quite a lot of them.
Okay. Carl, if you want to take control of tilt, I'll park it, rolling. Ready for zoom?
Zooming in.
Go ahead.
So it also looks like a squat lobster in the right.
Again, we're seeing these hard branching structures that things are growing on.
Yeah, I'm really tempted to say that they're exhumed burrows. That's the only thing they look like to me.
I thought maybe coral rubble like flipped on its side. This one looks like a gorgonian flipped on its side, but it's really thick. So I'm not sure what, because it looks like it could be the holdfast right here on the left, and then the branching structures to the right.
I mean, in shallower water, burrows like that, as Bill Keeney's already pointed out, they can be decapod shrimp. I'm not saying that they are, but
Right.
that's certainly what they look like.
So we have another anemone, a couple of anemones.
And Amanda chimes in that it could be coral rubble, and it could be coral rubble from higher on the slope. So
That's
we
what
have
yeah.
to remember that we're at the base of a relatively steep slope here on the order of 20 degrees or so. So as we move up, we'll see if we're right
We'll
about that.
rotate right. I believe there's a squat lobster.
Well,
in
that's a good
bunch
suggestion.
to
It
the
might be
right.
coral. If it is coral rubble, there should be some at the top of this.
One would hope
hopefully.
that we're going to see something up there, but we do see some
Almost
some harder rock-like
actually, we have a couple
cobbles as well
minutes.
around this area. So
Go in.
it's pretty clear that more lithified sediment's not very far below the surface.
Yeah, look, there's some rock or
Yep.
rubble.
Yep.
And the Keathley, or I'm sorry, squat lobster.
Got some sargassum there too.
I might be getting pulled by the tether.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can move on, gentlemen, when it works for you.
You're full wide.
Roger.
Guys, there's a stalked thing all the way to the right. If you look right, it's off screen.
Kind
Okay,
of
might do a quick
squat
snap zoom on
lobster
this,
actually can
Roland, as
dig
we
a
get closer.
very
Yep.
shallow burrow,
I'm
but I
gonna
don't
keep
think it's
going.
responsible for all of these big you see.
Right.
Go ahead in. I'll let it go by. Let's just hold camera tilt there, and I'll let it drive right by.
This
Yeah,
one
and then there was a
off
much
to the
larger
right
one
is the
further to your right.
sponge.
Okay. Floating right.
Do you want me to tilt?
I don't know where it was.
So there's
Stephanie?
another.
A little bit
It was.
down.
Yeah, you might have to pull out
There you go.
and then look all the way. It's
Got
way past these things.
More zoanthids and sponges there.
Yeah.
But there's what
All right,
sponge that
Roland,
sits right on the.
let's
That one
come
looks
out.
like it's sitting right on the.
I do have to keep
So would that
moving,
indicate
so-
a younger sponge, one that doesn't
There
have a
it was.
stalk?
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be maybe a question for Shirley Pomponi if she's listening in the Netherlands.
Is this what you wanted to see, Stephanie?
Yes, sir, that is it.
Okay.
Don't call Todd sir. It's
Yeah,
gonna
don't call me
swelled
sir.
head. That's going to be a swelled head thing. It's,
My father's not here. Don't
right.
call
My
me sir.
father's not here.
Exactly.
Okay, we do have to push out in front of Sirius, but let's take a quick look.
The fibers from a sponge.
I'll walk the vehicle right, nice and gentle.
Oh, that looks like a Hylanema stalk without the head.
Huh.
That's going to be my guess.
But that one doesn't have any
By
zoanthids on it. So that
No, it's dead.
How cool is that? Huh.
Chime in and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that might be what this is.
I
Dead
think you're
sponge.
right.
Mike thinks
That's
it's a
the
dead
stalk
sponge.
of the Highland.
Yep, the stalk of the
All
Hylanema.
over the broken
Huh.
fibers.
Yeah, something rolled through there and knocked it over. Or somehow died.
So what happened? So the zoanthids don't like being there anymore when the parent sponge is no longer there?
I don't know. That's rather strange. Maybe it's some sort of symbiotic relationship for them to live together.
Right. So once the Hylanema is dead, the zoanthids die too.
Particle too.
Backwards at you.
Okay,
There's a
guys,
small
Forward.
crab.
Fabulous, guys. That's great. You can move on.
gotta go.
There's a hermit crab on there too.
Nice focus, Roland.
Very nice job, guys.
Nice piloting. Okay, we're going to switch out. Going to put Dan in the video chair.
Definitely more rubble at the seafloor now as we're getting up to the steeper part of this slope.
How far away from waypoint 3?
Oh, less than 200 meters, 160, 180 meters.
Come
There's
pushing
another
out.
burrow.
Okay. Coming up to keep our delta.
Got it.
Doesn't appear to be much sessile biology taking advantage of the rubble here, though. Pretty barren seafloor, except for the spattering of very small
Okay,
organisms.
and I'm looking 45 degrees.
Roger. I'll let it slow down.
Had to transit a little faster there, everyone, for D2 to catch up with Sirius and the ship. You know, we can dawdle and look at things only so long, and then we've got to catch up. If we see an area that's very, very interesting, we'll stop the ship, and that gives us time to get stable and then look around the area.
Yeah, I wonder why the PTZ gives you so much better view of the tether than the Mini Zeus did.
I don't know. Maybe it's not deployed as deep, so the light pool is not refracting around the camera dome as much. I don't know.
It's great though. You can see.
It's a great view.
I think
And it's so snappy and quick.
Yeah. Maybe that was part of it with the Mini Zeus. Is as soon as you lost the tether, you take you a couple minutes to find it.
it's a bigger dome too.
Definitely a different look to the seafloor here. More rubble, more scattered rubble. Quite barren, though.
The irony is it's a very
we
small
saw a
field of view.
seafloor like
Yeah.
this
But you can move it around so
the day
quick.
before yesterday and saw quite a lot of solitary corals on seafloor that looked remarkably like this.
There was more rocks on those though.
More rocks, but
Yeah.
you know, that high that Brian took us to, that slope, and then up on top, we saw a lot of
Where we start
solitary
your
corals.
sonar
A little more
shows.
carbonate hard ground there, but and we're a little deeper water here. You know, we were in much shallower, not much shallower, but considerably shallower water. We're in 1,100 meters of water as opposed to where we are now at 1,800 meters. That would clearly have a difference. There's a crinoid.
Is this of interest?
Yeah, let's take a zoom on him.
Of course.
I mean, we've seen one before, but they're always fun to look at.
Let's Stand by, Dan. I'll get this stable.
Sure. Just let me know when you're ready.
And we're on the a relatively steep part of the seafloor now.
Oh,
After this zoom, guys, it might be good to get a feeling for current here if you can give me an idea, if we've got any.
Nav, have you noticed how Sirius is tracking?
Go ahead, Dan.
Yes, I have noticed that.
I mean, it looks
so the
stable.
Cumatulid.
I've never seen that before.
We're swimming crinoid.
Yeah, really nice.
It might be, maybe it has something to do with the
Partial.
slope.
I want to double check the number of arms on this
Go
guy.
deep.
We had a little.
Go full if you want to.
I thought I saw 9.
be.
Some of
This
the
one
guys
has
saw
10.
10.
It's almost like
This
they're
one has 10.
turned
It's
around
10.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one up looking
got
up at us.
a
That's
little
what it
more
was,
left.
right?
Okay, you might want to hold that. I'm losing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6.
Yeah, I see 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Beautiful.
Can you go tight on the center of it?
That's really
got it.
nice.
I'll try to hold it.
Okay,
I think
should
the
still have a
common
little
name
bit
for
left.
crinoids are sea lilies. Is that
Yeah, I
correct?
believe that's right.
And
Sea
going
lilies.
in.
Yep. And boy, you can certainly see why looking at that one.
That's full zoom. Nice work, Todd.
So their mouths are in the very center.
So they're
And you can
slowly
see
they're kind of wafting material in with their arms, right?
Yep.
And you know,
they catch it and pass it down their arm and then
right.
direct it into their mouths.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
I lost it.
Great zoom, guys.
Pulling out.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I should remind everybody that we would normally put our lasers on an organism like that to give you an idea of scale. It
Full
turns
wide.
out that only one of the 2 lasers that we use for scale is working today for reasons that we will determine after we get out of the water. Normally they would be giving us a sense of scale. They're spaced 4 inches, 10 centimeters apart, but they're not. Only one is working today, so we're unable to scale objects. Moving our way up slope now. We're at 1,820 meters.
We've come up, what, about 100 meters? Just
Oh.
19?
Why do we have our
Oh,
wire
since the
cam
start
there?
of the slope?
Yeah.
No, about 40.
Should
About
40,
40
okay.
meters since
Those
the
two
start
should
of the
be
slope.
swapped.
About 180 meters since the
Should
start of
be.
the dive.
Okay.
Just not there at all.
Is that monitor 9 and 12?
Do you know how to change that?
Yeah, what would you like there?
I think that should be the starboard rail the
Oh yeah, you're
one
right.
of the pilot cams.
I think it's usually rail and then wire
That's
cam is
it.
down there for nav to watch, or the aft cam, but that's redundant with the PTZ.
Yeah. In fact, given what seems to be a pretty reliable aft PTZ, maybe we can move that that extra camera down lower on the vehicle.
That might be nice.
Would you like a view of that?
Yeah, Nav, I've never seen the targets track in the opposite way before.
Dan, shall we zoom in on this yellow coral?
You got it. I mean, that's definitely serious because of how smooth the track is. Partial.
Thank you. Carl, do you want to tilt down a
Probably.
little bit?
Tilting down.
Okay. Zooming in.
Okay.
Still partial. I'll pull back a little bit.
Sorry, I'm losing it.
That's
I gotta
great.
steady up. Okay, Carl.
we go.
All right. Zooming in.
Do you have your toe in the mud now?
I do.
One smooth way to stay down is to note where Z-bias is, and then just give the knob a couple turns. And you don't have to move your hand anymore.
Zooming out.
Okay. Stephanie, are you on mute? Can't hear you. Or did I turn?
Yes, I am on mute. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Full wide.
Okay. Moving along. I think I'm
Behind
getting behind Sirius now again.
Yeah, you're about directly
So yes, that was the first parameter seed we've seen this dive.
Yep, and larger blocks of material now.
Not too
It's
bad.
hard to tell how lithified it actually is, but they are holding their shape. So certainly an indication that we're got a more lithified near seafloor environment, and I think that's reflected
Yeah,
in the fact
Carl.
that we've got more sessile biology
It
here.
looks like we're losing comms with it.
Losing comms with what?
Tracking, USBL tracking. It's jumping from
Oh.
White center screen,
about
please.
what the depth is
Roger.
to like 200 meters.
Huh.
Just tell me when, pilot.
Stand by.
Then we're not getting many pings from it. I don't think.
It's weird it doesn't reflect on the screen though.
Yeah. It's also jumping back and forth.
Toe in the mud. Go ahead in.
Okay.
I like your trick, Carl. That's sneaky.
Oh, that's interesting. What's that?
I am not sure.
It's partial.
Thank you.
I have your camera.
You got it. All right.
White gorgonian of some kind.
It's certainly a different looking animal than we've seen before today.
Yes.
Yeah, we might need to get in tighter on that guy, guys, so if you have to,
Zoom out a little bit.
Okay, Carl. You center it up. I'll help you.
Oh.
All right, zooming in.
Okay.
that one's dead white. I haven't seen that one before. Or at least I don't think I have.
He looks like he might be on his side too, like he's fallen over. See the hole fast
yeah,
at the base?
Could be. Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Again, octocoral maybe?
I'm not sure. I mean, let me look at the polyps. Hold on.
Yeah, it's showing a depth of 231 per Sirius. Thank you, Bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Scott thinks it's an
octocoral.
octocoral. Very nice zoom, guys. Don't see any associates with him or her or them.
I just call them hymns. I don't know what they are. Even the ones with eggs.
But it's a colonial,
Right.
colonial organism, so technically it's them, right?
Them, yeah.
That's great, Gab.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right,
Come on
zooming out.
wide.
So that's a new one. We haven't seen that one this dive.
So-
Or I don't think at
so
all
that
this trip.
is the ROV.
Well,
He's
not a
never
pure
made.
white,
acting
not a pure
properly
white
in Sirius is
octocoral, no.
just
Full
Not-
wide.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, maybe the battery's
Got another
low.
Carl in the far right. I don't know how
Could
easy it would
be.
be to get there.
Yellow.
Yes.
You can do it, and then I'll have to scoot.
Okay.
Yeah, looking backwards.
Video, we're off.
Yeah, I'm
The
not getting
conference
many
line.
returns from it either.
So it's awake. So the ship part's working because the ROV is
Dan, I'm
working.
gonna poke it down here and then we'll have a look, all right?
And Sirius is awake.
Sure.
I could try power cycling it.
Go ahead in.
It's like another Paramauricia, though, if I was
Yeah,
to make a
I
guess from a
shouldn't be saying
distance.
low battery because it's actually not on battery power.
That's true.
Twist it right
Sure.
a little
Yep.
bit.
Partial.
Another sparsely branched yellow gorgonian,
Go ahead in.
or Paramuriceid.
It's partial. Should have a little more.
Try to twist it back left, though, Whisker.
Very nice. If you got to go, you got to go, boys.
We got another 15, 20 seconds, and then Carl's gonna get really grumpy with me.
I'll just get up and leave.
Yep. Got the obligatory brittle stars there. Or I don't know how many. It looks like it might only be one, I guess.
Beautiful.
It's really hard to tell since they've got their legs all crumpled up.
They certainly don't want to let those corals go. Once they get there, they're
Hanging on.
Great. All right.
Time to punch out.
Roger that. Roger that.
Full wide.
Well, we're making reasonable progress up the slope. We've got probably 120 to 140 meters left to the third waypoint, and we're not at the very top of the slope when we get there, so we'll just keep working our way up slope through the end of the dive. We've got about an hour and 25 minutes to go on dive 4. This is the Okeanos Explorer. Seeing some interesting depressions in the seafloor now. A lot more topography in the seafloor than we saw earlier in the dive. I don't know. I just said in the event log I thought that might be related to subsurface withdrawal of, I said salt, but certainly there's salt in the vicinity of the walls of Keathley Canyon. But we haven't yet seen anything that I would say is suggestive of brine, the presence of brine or brine release.
Do you want to try turning it on again, Carl?
Yeah, there's just no change, huh?
All right, Carl. Do you have a hand to tilt your camera up for me?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Nev, I haven't seen a sled hit yet. Is it just not returning anymore at all?
I haven't seen it.
Interesting.
Carl, how's that? Pretty nicely out in front of you, right?
Yep, right direction. Delta 10 out in front.
Great. Just look around a little bit here.
Yeah, Josh, can you clear that again so we'll be sure that there's no sled hits? Oh, I think one just happened as you cleared. Let's give it a second. You know, in 5 years, we've never had trouble with the transceivers on the vehicles.
We're still working our way up slope, nominally at 1/10 of a knot. We've got about 120 meters or so,
So the ship
to
has
waypoint
stopped.
3.
I can put in another ship move if you guys are comfortable.
Yeah, anytime you're ready. 1/10 of a knot. You know, we're about 120 meters or so from waypoint 3, so you can lay in another ship move if you need to.
Copy that.
Now, what's our time that we're going to leave the bottom? 4:15 again, or 4? What's the plan?
Might be a
You know, I
little
think
earlier,
you know, we're at
deeper.
1,800 meters. I think he wants to be at 50 at 4:30. So I don't know. You'll have to check, but.
Just wondering when we're going to do our change out. 3:15.
Bridge, Nav.
Yeah.
Hi, Bridge. We'd like to request a ship move, please. Bearing 090 for 100 meters at 0.1 knots. Correct. Thank you.
So the DC bus return has lost comms.
It's because there's a fault and it times out.
Does it it comes back in a minute? Or?
Yeah, it'll come back when it pings again. Not pings, but does a test. Okay.
Bill, do we have you on the conference line?
What?
Oh, John, can you hear me?
Yes, what?
Okay, I was just making sure that you guys were still there because we got kicked off the conference
Depth
call.
is 1800 and Paris is 1800.
So I'm glad we're back on. Thank you.
Yeah, Bill Keatley's here too.
All right, thanks, Bill. Guys, upper right, there's a stalk. This might be another Paramir Seed. I'm not quite sure until we get on top of it, though.
Okay, Carl.
Camera?
Go ahead in. Video. We'll get you centered up.
All right, zooming in.
Yep, looks like another Paramir Seed.
It's partial.
Current depth.
That's a resident ophiuroid.
is 1800. What's our wind speed? 30, 29?
30, I think.
30.
I was nav yesterday.
Go in if you can.
Oh, there's another white branching one in the background.
Okay.
So time to
Pulling
surface is about 58 minutes. So if we want to be at 50 meters at 1630, then we have to leave the bottom at
This looks similar to
3:30.
that small bamboo coral we saw earlier.
So in
Pulling in tighter.
50 minutes.
Let's get close to it.
Correct.
That's full zoom.
Yeah, that's certainly not the, that one doesn't look like the white
Sorry.
one we saw earlier.
Small version?
One job to do.
I don't know.
Not the white one that was flipped. The
Right.
bamboo at the beginning.
Oh yeah, the one that was dead in
Working
the
up.
axis of the canyon. Yeah, could be.
That has segments, doesn't it? Or does
Yep.
it?
Scott says bamboo.
Bamboo coral. Well, let's get a zoom on it if we can.
This is
Oh,
full
they might
zoom.
be at full
We're
zoom,
gonna
'cause
have
they're
to
Are they
far
full? Are
away.
you at full zoom? All right.
Pretty far out there, and it's very small.
Yeah. Do you
Roger
wanna-
that.
I'll
Well, we do
pull
what we
back
have to do.
pilot.
There was another one in the foreground right below it.
It's actually not that far away.
It's
Zooming
just
in.
small,
It's
huh?
just very small.
Just
Yeah.
small, yeah. Yeah, there is
Tiny.
another one right in the foreground there.
There you go.
Huh.
Now that has no branching. It's single.
Certainly not big though. It's amazing. It's a nice call, Stephanie. I didn't even see it. So
Nav, I've missed every time the sled comes
It's
up.
there,
They
though.
say
That's-
its depth is about 200.
Okay, that's full zoom.
It's like tiny
Yeah, I
purple
mean, if you look at the top
polyps.
of the depth plot, depth plot,
So
Oh, I
yeah,
see
there
it
it
now
is.
there.
Yeah, it's just
225.
pegged at 225. Watch lead, this is Nav.
go ahead.
So time off bottom would be at 3:30, 15:30.
Roger that.
If we want to be at 50 meters at 16:30.
Yeah, I mean that's the directive. So I mean, unless Brian countermands that, I think that's our plan.
All right, copy that.
Is it time to move on, Carl?
Beautiful
the ship
shots,
just
guys,
started
thanks.
moving, I think, so
Yeah,
we've
so
got
we're
some time.
it's going to take us about an hour to get to
You can
to the surface
bit
from the
to your
depth we're at.
port,
So we're
so
estimating
lined up
the
at
end of our dive
0.5.
today at 15:30
is the
Central
shipment
Daylight. So that's about
095.
45 minutes from now. We're about 100 meters from waypoint 3. We're just going to continue to climb this slope in the
Nav
remaining
co-pilot?
time. Certainly getting
ahead,
some
co-pilot.
more
Is the ship
interesting
move
Cecil-based
095 still?
090.
organisms, corals now. A little harder substrate, some
Yeah,
rubbly
Pat,
zones, some
you even have to
small
spin a little more
cobbles,
to
and we'll
port,
just keep
so-
climbing
Okay,
the
I'll
slope
come back
for the
that way.
remainder of the
See what you
dive.
find
Thanks
off
for
your
sticking with
side.
us. This is the Okeanos Explorer.
Yeah, we got some larger rubble pieces.
Yep, no question. We're on the steepest part of this slope now, and based on the calculation we did earlier, we're looking at a slope of about 20 degrees, give or take.
Yeah, I'm set to 090 now.
So Scott's suggesting that last single stalked
Yeah, it was a sea pen.
is a sea
Saw
pen.
that. Yeah, maybe so.
Penachalesin.
Scott, France? Is that?
Can you make some
that
notes
him?
of this, Josh? Have you been making notes of the 225 when we're at 1786?
Will do.
It's coming in. It seems like every 10.
If
RV
we
pings
have
or
time
something.
left when we climb, when we get to waypoint 3, gentlemen, just keep climbing the slope till the end of the dive.
Ship's still moving, right, Nav?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, now the sled said the correct depth, but oh, the sled went to the right place once.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me wonder if the
Topography?
yeah,
The
little
bathymetry?
bathymetry is
Hey,
affecting the-
Jamie, it's Bill Keeney. I'm just wondering if it might be possible to stay down for
We had
about
some pretty
10
steep cliffs
more
last year.
minutes past 3.
They would kind
30,
of cut
so
out
about
a little intermittently,
there's
tracing
40.
those reflections,
You've
but
got
they never
a
just thought they
Green
were 200 meters
Resources
for
graduate
an hour.
class that was planning to come in at 3:30, and they wanted to see what was going on. Does that create problems?
Wait one, Bill. Let me check, and I'll get back to you.
It should be running on battery, or it is running on battery at this point too, because I have the power off.
Pilot Nav, have we duked it out? Who's going to be changing out where? Change out at the hour? What do you think?
If you guys want to swap, that's fine. I don't mind staying nav or just shifting down seats. I have no burning desire to pilot if you want to pilot a little longer, Todd.
We're at 1,798
I wouldn't mind
meters.
doing the recovery as pilot. I haven't done that yet this season.
Our temperature is 4.266 degrees Celsius. Our
Still
salinity is
Plenty of dives left in
34.959
this expedition.
PSU. Looks like we have an increase in
So the
rubble,
sled is going back and forth now.
or
Half of them are at 221.
harder consolidated sediment.
This is what it was doing before.
Still fairly barren on our 30-ish
When it was on
degree
power.
slope.
Yes.
We're transecting upslope
It'll be very telling
on
once we come
the
off the bottom
eastern side of Keathley Canyon.
if this continues.
But it's not pegged at 225, so it's not a software error or anything.
There's another small white coral. Right? Lower right?
Yeah, you can zoom in on that, please.
Okay, stand by. Okay, Carl, if you want to tilt up just a little and
Looks like
video,
we have another
zoom it well.
Gorgonian.
All right. Zooming in.
Looks similar to the bamboo curler coral we saw earlier.
Partial.
ROV Nav, I've got an update from your boss. We've got a class coming into the sanctuary, Stennis ECC at 3:40. So we're going to stay on the bottom another 15 minutes or so.
All right, copy that. So leave the bottom at 3:45.
Yeah, approximately. Let's we'll use that right now as the time, and we may vary that another 5 minutes or so.
Okay, copy.
For full zoom.
Bill, yeah, we've got dispensation to stay on the seafloor another 15 minutes or so. So
nice.
Bring your class on.
That's great. Thanks very much, Jamie.
Roger that.
Thanks
There's
to
a
our
small shrimp.
Zooming out a little bit.
So did we decide that's a bamboo coral or not? No.
I'm not sure. Guys on shoreside want to take a look. I thought maybe it
Zoom
was
in a
the
little
same one
further.
we saw earlier, but
Go at will.
I'm not
Shrimp is
positive.
another basic tail manila.
What was the name of the shrimp?
The shrimp is called basic tail manila.
Okay, he's got really long chelate arms, yes?
Basic tail manila. P-A-T-H-Y
Okay, now looks like we know that behavior pretty well. I'll turn the power back on. Didn't
Thank
seem
you.
to change it though.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so Amanda's saying that is a bamboo coral.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good. I'm glad to see some
Let's
live
try
ones up
keeping
here.
it steady,
We
pilot.
spent a whole dive looking for bamboo coral for Brian Kinlan, and we didn't find one. So at least we've got a few here.
Any chance you think that those could be egg masses in the polyps?
Yeah, Scott would be our guy for egg masses. I don't. We certainly saw some on corals day before yesterday, on Paramaricia, I guess.
Right, which were at the base of the polyps.
Right. Could be. Great zoom, guys. That's fine.
All right,
Okay, here
zooming
we
out.
go.
Quality of the cameras are staggering to me. You zoom back out and you realize how small these organisms really are.
How far away we are from them.
Fill the screen and quite rubbly seafloor now. Very little soft sediment at the seafloor now. Got another organism upper left. Is that a shrimp? Looks like it might be a shrimp. Yep, that's a shrimp.
Pilot, you mind if I turn your backlights on and off just to see the effects?
Go ahead. I think the lower is on right now, meaning the one that points down. Or I mean the upper, which
is really the lower.
Yeah.
Certainly exhuming some harder rock here on this steep slope.
Oh yeah, it's hard
kind
to
of
see.
platey. You can see the
Very
nature of it.
bright.
It's kind of platey off to the upper right there. And small
This one
sediment
should shine our
landslides.
eyes.
Gravity is a wonderful thing for exposing the subsurface, and
Maybe
that's
too
what we're
much.
seeing now on this steep slope.
I should point that one straight back.
Is small sponge possibly in the lower part of the screen?
Just at the base of that hummock. Do you want to zoom on that?
You got it.
Stand by.
Uh,
Hold partial for a moment.
Small squat lobster in that hole. Looks like.
Is this the sponge you wanted to see? Or did I miss it?
That was not the sponge, but we can sure as heck zoom in on it.
Go ahead.
And you're
Dan.
right. It's probably a squat lobster of a genus called Munida, M-U-N-I-D-A,
co-pilot.
which has been indicated as
Red's
being a
Porsche's going
major
through the
eroder in
relays.
submarine
Spare 3
canyons
and
in
4.
California.
Are those the
Oh, that's neat.
still cam?
Temp probe.
Because it
probe.
burrows so
Oh,
much.
the temp probes. What's the still cam on?
Let me bring up.
I am not sure what this is.
Bring up mine.
Can I go full pilot?
Go full.
It digs out small excavations and it just knocks things over and eventually
Wow.
cracks
Not on
under
this
its
page.
own forces, I suppose.
Well, I mean, I think we underestimate the degree to
Not
which
on this
intense
page.
bioturbation along these slopes
Right, Dan, I'm
loosens
gonna tilt up
superficial
to the-
sediment and helps gravity.
Squat lobster.
Yes.
Robert said this might be an egg mass.
You come out just a little. I'll
And
find
then
that.
Sure.
The burrow.
Squat lobster was up
I
here.
think it's one of the other spear. On bank 2.
Oh,
I think
temperature
you're right.
sensors are
Yeah.
just one together.
There he is.
No, I think it's like, I
Still
don't think it's
partial.
on right now.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Like it's
Certainly see
spare
evidence,
two
as I
12
just put in
volts,
the
I
event
think.
log, of some
Okay.
small landslide scars here now. So
Makes sense.
the degree to which biology is helping that wouldn't surprise me at all. Oh, there's a squat lobster ducking back into his burrow. And certainly an agent of geologic change. Because you can see the nature of that dipping, platy
Okay, Dan, you want to go
sediment
back in?
now,
It
and
should, center
burrows
up
in that
as I
sediment would
shift.
certainly
Okay,
help
zooming in.
help that sediment move down slope.
Nice. Very nice.
Tilt down slightly.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it pretty good.
I like watching their mouth parts. They're really neat.
Nice job.
Definitely taking on the ROV.
This is what I needed. Just a
Very nice zoom. Very
solid
nice.
little time to.
For those of you who just
Yeah, I
joined
haven't
us, we're
really had
getting
that.
near
The
the
day I
top
flew
of a
was with
slope
one
now of an
thruster, so it was
upper
very bouncy.
interfacing wall on the east side of Keathley Canyon. We're in the last 45 minutes or so of dive 4 of Expedition 3 of the Okeanos Explorer set of mapping and ROV expeditions to the Gulf of Mexico this
Oh,
year.
I have your camera.
We're all glad that you're with us. We've been looking at largely sedimented slopes and associated
Oh, I guess that
biology.
is full.
We've seen some corals recently. You're looking right now at what we call a squat lobster coming out of his burrow, challenging our
Pretty
Deep
good.
Discoverer
Don't know
ROV.
what more you want.
We're at a water depth of
Just little pictures on his mouth.
1,794 meters, and as I said, we're within the last 45 minutes of our dive here. We started at a water depth this morning of 2,000 meters. This is the Okeanos Explorer.
Was there another one just up, or was it a shrimp?
Oh, there's a small polychaete worm too in the sediment.
Oh yeah.
The bottom of this frame.
This
Oops.
is full zoom though.
Yeah. Oh, there's a.
Center screen, polychaete worm.
Yep. Zooming in. That's full zoom.
Those are cool little critters.
He stopped moving.
Somebody mentioned earlier the degree to which the upper few centimeters to inches of sediment is occupied by a rich diversity
out
of
partial
biological
zoom?
organisms, and you're getting a feeling for that now.
I think there was another
Superficial
something up
sediment is
here.
a home to vast biomass, and
partial.
getting a
Went.
feeling
It
for
was a
that
shrimp.
as we come up this
Okay,
slope.
let's go. There it is.
Oh. Okay.
That's all right. We need to get moving.
All right. I'm gonna full wide.
Roger.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, did you get the name of that crab?
Yeah, Mary said it, but I couldn't repeat it.
Acanthocaris?
Acanthocaris. Oh no, it's a squat lobster. Mary, can you repeat the name of the squat lobster for John, please?
No.
Well.
No, the genus is Munida, M-U-N-I-D-A.
Lobster.
It's an anamurin.
Mm-hmm. Over in the Straits of Florida, we get this Acanthocaris siki,
Push him out, Carl.
the white lobster. I think it's blind. It makes these big
Yeah.
burrows, double-ended burrow.
We've seen
Looks
some
a
of
bit
those.
like that, but it's not. It's spiny.
Yeah, we've seen some of the double-ended burrows, but we haven't seen any Acanthocaris. So we weren't sure what was causing the burrows, what was making the burrows.
Well, we,
Nav, this is Survey 1.
it's possible
ahead,
that
survey
Munida is Munida microphthalma, but I need to see the picture, compare it to a specimen to be sure. I don't have a good picture of it.
Okay. Thank you, Mary.
It takes about 58 minutes
We've got something coming
I
up,
can bring
possibly
that up.
crinoid.
on HiPAC 1 if you want to see it. Yeah.
You have two of them.
Yes, correct.
Another nice crinoid there on the right. I really love those. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 58 minutes. You're welcome.
Another little squat lobster under that
Yeah.
lump.
Could be another squat lobster under this rock.
Okay, folks. Pilot change out here.
Roger that. Thank you, Todd. This is the Okeanos Explorer. We're going to be, it's bonus coverage today. We're going to stay on the seafloor another 15 minutes or so. We're normally, given this water depth, we would have come off the seafloor about 3:30, 15:30 Central Daylight. We have class coming in at Stennis Exploration Command Center about 3:40, so we're going to stay in the water another 15 minutes or so today. We've got 15 minutes of bonus coverage of the seafloor. We're glad you've all joined us. We're seeing some corals, we're seeing some squat lobsters. We're climbing a slope at a water depth right now of 1,785 meters. We're on the upper inner wall of the east side of Keathley Canyon in the north central Gulf of Mexico. We're glad you're with us. This is the Okeanos Explorer.
Just letting you know that it's Texas A&M Galveston.
I'm not going to hold that against them. Speaking as a T-SIP, I'm perfectly okay with Texas A&M coming and seeing our operation as long as they don't make any UT Austin comments.
Okay, so we're moving along at 090.
That is correct.
You guys don't need to worry about me. I'm a graduate of the University of Southern California.
That's good. You know, they used to play football there. Of course, we used to play football at UT, so we'll see what happens, though. It's always another year. That's the great thing about football. Pretty rubbly seafloor now. Very little in the way of soft sediment. We certainly made a transition from the first time on the seafloor this morning in 2,000 meters where we were looking completely at soft sediment to a pretty rubbly looking seafloor now about 220 meters higher on this steep slope. I've not seen any evidence for
So you left it with auto head on?
brine-related escape, though. We thought we might see that today.
I do like it.
I was confused for a minute.
In fact, I was getting used to, once you park it on the bottom, to use the little green auto head set point to let it center it up on the, you know what I mean? To fight the friction of your toe in the sand and let the green little arrow, you know what I mean? Dial it in that way rather than visually.
Okay.
Just get it a little bit ahead to let it drift in. You know what I mean?
I'll have to try that.
I mean, you know, it's interesting to me. We're seeing some coral, but not much, and it's interesting because I think it suggests to me that geologically this is a more active slope than we might suppose, and the fact that we're not seeing more encrusting biology here might simply be the fact that on time scales of hundreds to thousands of years, the slope is actually very active, and things don't have a chance to attach themselves.
Picking up on the winch a bit.
Yeah.
Certainly looks like what we would call a scree slope on land, and that's loose rubble, very activated by gravity
Sirius is full wide.
Downslope activity, and the fact that it's barren of encrusting biology for the most part, I think supports the fact that it's pretty active.
You have a crinoid?
We're about 60 meters or so from waypoint 3 now with the D2 ROV. Moving ahead at
for something.
0.1 knot approximately. Should be at waypoint 3 in about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll just keep moving upslope for the remainder of the dive.
Nice little steep section here.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows up on Sirius pretty well. on your sonar.
It does, yeah.
And high pack indicated.
Another
that it would
crinoid,
be
couple
steeper in
crinoids.
this section.
Where's the mouse for the sonar? Here.
Yeah. Found it.
Gain. Crank up the contrast. Down the gain.
Branching, left.
Okay. Coming up on the ridge
Branching
with you.
left.
Yeah. Probably a gorg or something.
Yeah, there you go. You want to take a zoom on that?
Yeah, if they can. I think
Let
they
me know
saw.
when you're ready, pilot.
Yeah.
Copy.
Yeah, it looks like you've got erosional chutes there on either side of that coral. Certainly looks
Back
like a
down
pretty
to it.
active slope here.
Yeah.
I was making a little run up the slope here because it was getting steep. So
Well, you don't have a whole lot of time now that it's steep.
yeah.
We switch places and it gets exciting. That's no fair.
Okay, video.
Zooming in.
Co-pilot, does it make sense to
on the
adjust
premier
the
suit.
Got two of them, though.
your range
Yeah.
on your sonar at this point? Because it's
That's
we
right,
go.
2 of them.
Could bring it down a bit, yeah. On D2. Probably on both of them.
Partial.
Okay.
Virtually infested with brittle stars.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to me how these organisms find each other.
Let's go in close on the little guy at the bottom, and then I'll move on.
Well, the seep communities. I mean, the seeps are
Okay.
turning on and off,
fish
right?
It's
So
amazing,
Around
really.
you
It is.
too.
No, it's amazing.
So you can see in
the small shrimp.
Sirius.
Just checking out the swing arms.
Yeah, he might swim right in front of you.
He's just above D2. Do you see the shadow?
Is that full in
Right.
video?
Wanna do,
Yeah, not quite. Do you want to? Oh, the
Very
fish is
nice
behind
camera
us.
work.
Mm-hmm.
You can zoom on
Amazing.
Sirius HD if you want video.
Can't help you with that shrimp. Can't see enough detail.
Yeah, he's tiny.
Of course, he could be an immature version of ones we've looked at before, right? I mean, it's possible he's just a small version of immature juvenile. They must start smaller.
Yeah.
All right, full wide co-pilot.
Thank you.
Okay, can
Well,
we
I don't
go
know how
wide
big,
on
you know, shrimp are when
RV?
they settle out of the water column.
Zooming up.
Yeah, you've got to scoot ahead there, Carl.
It's possible, but I'd have to see a lateral view of the tooth area between his eyes to go
Yeah.
any further, and I don't think we've got that.
Well, we
Full
just,
wide on
there's a
RV.
limit to what we can get you there.
Copy that.
There's a pink branching one right middle screen.
Okay, let's get a quick zoom on that right now.
Pretty
video.
steep slope now.
Zooming
You can
in.
see that we're on a, oh, nice job. Nice work.
It looks like its polyps are in.
Oh.
Not sure what it is.
That was a little too quick. So
Yeah, sorry.
I was trying to combine that with shooting ahead.
Is that what Amanda was calling a bubblegum coral last year?
We'll have to move on,
Would
though.
that be in
Yeah.
Acanthogorgia? No, that's
I'm
not.
not sure.
Full wide.
It looks like there's another bamboo to the right. Paragorgia, Scott says.
Paragorgia.
Possibly. Which would be new to this dive.
Are you full wide on Sirius?
It is full wide.
Okay.
Looked a little close, so I was just checking.
Hey, co-pilot. I'm coming up here.
Roger that. I'm following you. You might want to push out in front as well. I got a pretty vertical camera angle.
Pushing out.
Yeah, we're on a very steep part of the
Are they
slope now.
crinoid?
Got a lot of this looks erosional. The lighter areas left and right look like
How much is
erosional
left in this
chutes.
move now?
The browner material in
Yeah.
between the remnants of the slope that is
Not
left
sure.
behind by chutes, and the rubble there is all
like me to call the
rubble that's
bridge?
moving actively downslope, and I think it's probably pretty clear why we don't have more
Well, I was
encrusting
just wondering,
biology here.
Now that it's steep, if we want to
Another
start
small
hopping
Gorgonian
along.
right in front of us.
We're,
3 or
I think
4 more
we're
crinoids.
pretty close to stop, to
Okay.
the end of it, if not already have stopped.
Hey, you got another crinoid, right? 2, it looks like 1, 2,
Okay, well,
maybe 3.
we were just delayed a bit,
5.
but now Todd's
But-
camera's at
Thanks,
45
Bridge.
degrees.
We're 9 meters from the end.
Another one.
Okay,
The crinoid
we can
sitting.
handle that.
You just came up a lot. I've been hauling in at 12 meters a minute for quite a little bit now. Looks
So
like
these
our
2 more.
sonars are flattening out though.
Yeah, that's just a little,
I mean,
what
with
would you call it, a
with the
cliff.
fact that we have so many crinoids in one place be indicative of more flow, less flow, does anybody have any sense of that? Or
I don't know. We could
Got it.
That's a question for
got
Chuck Messing.
got a lot of crinoids here,
Yeah,
more than we've seen in the whole
This
dive
looks
in
like,
this one area here.
a transition here from steep rubble to flat.
Yeah, we're on a flatter stretch of the.
Fan to the left.
Purple? Oh.
Is that brown? I don't know what color that is.
Yeah, we can get a
Dead
zoom on that
sponge.
lower left.
Dead sponge, yeah.
That would be good.
Got it.
We're getting close to the waypoint, but we
Let me
should
know
just
when you're ready,
continue. We've
Okay,
got
I
about
gotta
30
back up
minutes
low.
left. Let's just continue
Rush
on
up
this
the hill there.
trend and at this speed for the remainder of the dive.
Copy that.
There it is.
Might be Hylanema stalk again. Looks similar to the one last time.
Yeah, so you think it's a stalk without a sponge on it?
From here, that's
Okay,
what it looks like
video.
to me.
Just do a floating zoom here.
Once we get a zoom. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks like
I think
Hylanema
you're right. I think
stalk.
that's exactly what it looks like. But
It's
no,
partial.
but no colonizing.
Pull
No,
it
that's
further.
interesting.
You finished to try and get those a look at those barnacles?
Barnacles. I'm not sure where he sees barnacles.
Well, we've got small. What is the organism to the left
Little
there?
shrimp
Are
of
they
some
shrimp?
kind.
Looks like
Euphalsid maybe?
certainly there's a brittle star or two in there, and
Mysis. That's what that little shrimp is.
yeah, interesting, fascinating.
Mysids.
Pan back up it.
They look like mysids to me.
Mysids, yeah. And then the barnacles at the top he wants to see.
I want to try to
So,
focus on that.
Yeah,
white
we're going to try and
barnacle.
focus on those.
Am I drifting back?
Are they
Yeah,
barnacles?
we're
I guess
getting
they
further
are they
away
from
barnacles
it.
up on
Yeah.
top.
I think so.
Fascinating.
It's pretty, I think there's a lot of water between us here.
Thank you, Bridge.
Hard to focus on.
It's getting better.
All right, I'm going to dial in another ship move.
Very nice zoom, guys. That's great.
All right, let's go ahead.
Thank you.
Carl, we're almost on top of you. Ship's going to keep drifting a little bit.
We're about
on
D2.
Flagstaff
Just
Hill.
Deep Discover is about 20 meters from waypoint 3,
Thank
and
you,
Bill
Bill.
will just keep going on this heading and at this speed for the next 30 minutes or so till we conclude the dive. If that works for you.
You can let me know too if you keep having to focus out.
Sounds good.
That sounds good, Candy.
Okay, we'll do.
Roland certainly lets us know.
All right, 50-meter move. Then that should take us to the end of the dive.
We're now in a water depth of 1,758 meters. We've come up about 240 meters since the beginning of the dive, in a couple of increments primarily, from
Bridge, this is our
up an inner
OB
slope and then a bench, and now this larger outer slope.
We would like to request a ship move.
Branching
Range
thing
50
on the right.
meters, bearing 090, speed 0.1 knots. Thank you.
Coming up on winch a little bit.
You're at 56
Yeah, you
degrees.
can push out a bit.
Do I have time to get a quick look at this branching coral?
I think so.
Ready when you are, pilot.
Parameciid.
Okay.
A little bit
free to
like one,
zoom.
doesn't it?
I'll just keep moving us over.
Zooming in. Partial.
Yep.
I think I just blasted.
Oops, there goes our shrimp.
Well, it was a Paramaricia.
Alright, I'll
Okay.
pull back.
Yeah. My bad.
Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Full wide.
Into every life, a little sediment must fall.
I'm feeding it.
Another crinoid in the upper right.
Well, we've got a lot of crinoids here.
And in the upper middle.
Does make you wonder if there isn't something, there appears to be something environmental that favors crinoids here. We got a stalk, is that another sea pen or something there?
Could be.
Push out.
Okay.
White stalk. Yes, I think that's another sea pen. Looks like the last one.
Up there. That's 40 something degrees.
I think we have to go though.
Crinoids everywhere.
There's at least 4 more.
Very interesting.
Couple more gorgonians on the right, left. Our depth, Amanda, is 1747. Bottom's more rubbly now than it had been.
No question. No, the upper part of the slope is not only rubbly, but it's the macroscopic topography suggests erosional chutes, much faster gravitational downslope movement than we've seen before. And again, I think it's linked to the lack of encrusting biology. We're seeing some biology, but not much.
Object in the center.
And I think it's contributed to by the instability of the slope overall.
Right. Looks like a pteropod shell.
Partial zoom.
It's a pteropod shell.
And you guys thought you knew that. These are swimming snail shells made of aragonite. It's a form of, it's a metastable form of calcium carbonate, limestone.
Some sea urchin spines
Okay,
in the
full
sediment
wet.
too.
Full wide.
Copilot, could you restart the sonar?
Software?
Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could
Or
make it
just
to this
when
top
you hit Stop
ledge.
and start.
I think you just have to close the
Or it
software.
flattens out.
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't. I think we're,
Think we have time?
we're moving
CNET
along.
Pro,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, we'll get there.
That'd be kind of devastating if we got up there and it was a giant
Yeah,
forest
sometimes
of
it
coral.
freezes quite often.
We'd have to get off the bottom.
No devastation. There is no devastation in ocean exploration. There is only the need to further explore.
So 447 k ohms on the ground fault. Have we been given a cutoff by Jeff or Dave Wright?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Here's looking across the slope. You can see it's about 45 degrees, just like high pack.
At
It's
24
about 45
volts,
degrees slope
half a
here, it looks
megohm
like.
is still a tiny
Certainly,
amount of each gram, and that's the aggregate of
it's certainly
multiple
steep in places.
grounds, right?
You know, we're the overall slope's in the 20-degree range, but there may be steeper sections, and we're certainly in a steep section now. That scar you see in the middle of the view now, that's a slide scar. So where you and who knows, there could even be that could be one of the elusive brine seeps that Bill Keeney's been looking for all day. That would be what one of those seeps might look like, where brine is leaking out of the seafloor and then cascading down slope.
Video, let's do a quick zoom on this, the edge of this slide here.
All right, zooming in.
That's good, you can hold there.
I feel like this bottom would be pretty unstable.
It's very unstable.
Oop. Little hexactinellid sponge. Looks like the Hylanema, but
Can I
without a
zoom in
stalk.
on that? Pilot?
Yeah, I'm just stopping. Yeah, you can zoom in now.
Yeah, Bill, I think this is as close to evidence for a brine escape feature as you're likely to see. What we're looking at right now. I don't think there's any brine coming down the slope right now, but I think it may have seen brine flow in the past.
Well, it's possible.
Yeah.
You know, looking at this morphologically, you know, you look at a steep escarpment and cascading rubble that might come down a mountain slope, and you find kind of grooves like that.
That's right.
It kind of sorts the material sorts out, but who knows?
Episodic
You know, the thing
escape.
is that since this is probably so actively moving, it would suggest, because there aren't a lot of places colonized, that
Nice
maybe you know,
Nice job, too.
you wouldn't,
Yeah,
if there was
Sanders,
brine
that a
flow there
floater?
sometime
That's
in
a
the
floater.
past,
Nice job.
you know, it would have been covered up, or
Had a lot of
Yeah,
forward
but
momentum.
you know, again, we're looking at features that you know, they're not changing day to day, but I
Very
think
good.
it's
Zoom out
highly
more.
likely,
All right, go
since
on.
we know from seismic data that Keathley is impacted by salt intersecting the seafloor and the subsurface in many places, that this could be one of them, and it might not be brine escaping on a continuing basis. Could happen periodically, and then salt moves a little bit, sediment moves a little bit, and the brine flow is cut off. and then comes back. And it might not happen very often, but that's a smoking gun to me of a dense flow moving down slope.
That sponge is another Hyalonema.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but he didn't have his stalk.
Well, it's probably real short, or maybe sediment filled in under it, possibly.
Oh, that makes sense. Thank you, John.
The top is definitely Hyalonema.
Okay.
I think it's kind of interesting what we've seen, though, today, starting out at the bottom, where there was probably evidence of a deflationary kind of erosion of the deposits on the bottom. You know, there were thick accumulations of pteropod shells that might be considered kind of a lag deposit. The strong currents down there would transport the finer material out. And as we've gone up the slope, get less of that current, obviously, and the steeping of the slope is somehow being maintained by a more lithified seafloor. Not sure, but at least it gives us a bit more of an idea of kind of what are the factors that are influencing the morphology of this very steep, narrow canyon.
Yeah, the irony, of course, is I think we have less bottom current now up here than we did in the axis of the canyon, but we've certainly got more evidence for downslope movement of sediment. This is a much more active-looking geologic environment than the Thalweg looked like when we landed this morning.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Little avalanches.
You have a couple more crinoids. Seem to be the dominant
very
creature out here.
You know, there again, if we can pan left and look at that small drainage feature to the left, you know, Bill, I've got to tell you, I think that is absolutely a brine channel there to the left.
When you're done, can you go back to the coral afterwards?
That's where I was headed. Okay, where is this channel?
Dead in front of you, lower left center.
Okay.
You can just take a look there. I just want to see if any of this is actively being excavated by brine that's moving. We would see evidence for it.
Okay. Hold there.
That's a brine seep, Bill. I mean, it may not be active now, but that's what that is.
This hole here?
No. Further left,
burrow.
that sinuous channel you see?
I see. Gotcha.
Let's just take a close look.
I see it, yeah.
Zoom in a little further.
I mean, that's what a seep would look like.
If that steep slope, that any flow that might have come out of there certainly would have gone away fast.
Yeah, if we can get a zoom just on the upper part of it where the hole is.
Okay.
You know, I would say to you that that's probably what you've been looking for all day. That's I'd say that's a brine seep there. I don't see any brine coming out of it right now, but I would wager that's what that is. That's good. I mean, you can go ahead and take a look. I don't see any brine. You can take a look over to where Stephanie wanted you to go.
All right, zooming out.
Certainly these kinds of things and the steepness of the slope, and it certainly changed as we get closer to the top. Who knows, in the small amount of time we have, maybe we'll see something more definitive. I have a room full of graduate students here interested in what's going on.
Well, that's great. Well, welcome all of you. If you've got any questions, relay them directly or through Bill, and we'll do our best to answer them.
We're going to zoom in on this coral here. There's at least 5 crinoids near it.
Okay, video, you can zoom to it as I fly by.
Zooming in.
Crinoids again, yes. Very unstable slope here. That's a large cobble. Looks like evidence for layering. Is that a bamboo coral there to the right?
I think so. If we focus in on the stem a little closer, I think I can see the segments.
Okay, zooming in.
Okay.
Nice job keeping it steady.
Yep.
Bamboo.
Bamboo.
Very nice. Very nice, gentlemen.
You see 8 tentacles on each polyp.
Nice focus.
Beautiful, guys. Thank you. Ooh, little amphipod. Isopod. Maybe a worm. I'm not positive.
All right. Zooming out.
It's an amphipod.
Amphipod, thank you.
I think we can move on, gentlemen. I'd like to get up, try to get up top near the top of this slope before the end of our time, if possible.
It's full wide.
May not make it, but
Can shoot for it.
Carl, I'm almost directly above you.
we won't have much time to look at it.
Push
But
ahead then.
take a little look and see what's cooking.
Looks like
Seeing multiple rills, what we call rills, downslope,
You're about 12
sinuous
meters off the
gullies
face.
now as we get up to the top of this slope.
Coming up.
I really think that's a smoking gun for brines
Look at all the crinoids.
and crinoids everywhere. I mean, it's really interesting. It's a forest.
Don't come up too fast.
Well, I'm glad we got up this high, Bill. I wasn't sure we'd have time, but we've done a good job of making it up here, and very interesting to see the contrast.
Pushing out.
Yeah, I think so. It's been quite interesting.
Increasing range to the
In
slope.
spite of maybe not seeing as much abundance of life, but certainly it's been interesting and again says something about the relationship between the biology and geology of the
Yeah, with
seafloor.
all
and
this extra light, we
Gulf
can
of
fly
Mexico.
farther away.
Yep.
It's still lit up.
No, I mean, you're just seeing a classic talus slope. There's a talus slope. You can see the breakaway scar above it. You know, you're really seeing evidence for catastrophic loss of sediment there. That's a real slump scar in front of us.
We just passed the Cereantha, which is a burrowing anemone. Trying to make it to the top of this slope.
Yeah, I think we ought to try to take a quick look up there if we can.
This is interesting, the change in topography.
Just a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's very, very, very rough here.
Yeah, it's getting more rugged.
Can you reduce my sonar range to 20 or so? Yeah.
Those are called crescentic slump scars. You see the crescent, where you see avalanches. The avalanche that just happened in Washington, for example. If you look at where that avalanche came from, they tend to be crescent shaped, and that's a classic slump scar in the lower right.
Look at all these
Look at all the crinoids. It's a crinoid forest. It's amazing.
Okay.
If you guys could just zoom in on one, likely they're all the same species, just so we can get an identification maybe later on.
Copy that.
Ready when you are, pilot.
Hold on. First, let's see what this thing in the water column is.
Can I zoom in?
Yeah, there's a jelly in the water column too.
Yeah, those all look like the same animal. Those
Look at that.
It's got some glowy.
Oh, Tina 4 is yellow. Be beautiful. You can see his comb glowing. And he's almost completely see-through, except the yellow hue.
I don't think I've ever seen so many crinoids in one place. It's great.
There's a place in off of the east coast of Florida where we go and check every year, and
Yes.
they're on every rock. They're
coming at me.
covered, 100% covered in
Yeah.
crinoids.
It's amazing, though.
Yeah. Look how beautiful this ctenophore is.
And Scott has never seen a yellow ctenophore. That's great. Well, there we go. Love that.
I've never seen a yellow one either.
Giving us a good look at him, that's for sure.
Beautiful flying by our
And
pilot
we'll
Carl.
probably hammer him as we go by.
It's all thanks to the co-piloting by Todd.
And maybe the only yellow ctenophore
I'm
left in the
full wide.
world. And we're going to hit it with the ROV.
He's right up next to the camera.
All right.
He's right next to the camera.
You can see
I
him in
will
the
go-
mini Zeus. He's literally straight down in front of the camera.
I'll just go up and back slowly and let him continue his way down the cliff.
Uh-oh. There he goes.
Nice job, pilot.
Nice job, Carl.
That's cool.
Yeah, let's get a zoom on one of these crinoids and
Yes.
then
Just
move
start
our way
moving
back,
out.
move our way up slope. I'd like to get a little further up before we're done.
Okay, yes. I'm just going to get ahead of Sirius a little, and then I'll zoom in on a
Okay.
crinoid for you.
A lot of evidence
Got
for
another
pretty
fish in the Sirius
catastrophic downslope sediment movement here. All those yellow, all those lighter covered channels there are sediment that's moving downslope. I wouldn't surprise me if it's actuated by the leakage of supersaturated brines from inside the, from below the seafloor.
Okay, there's a couple more up here.
Crinoids clearly like it up here, though.
I'll just get closer to this guy coming into the screen, and we can get a quick zoom video.
All right. Let me know when.
Okay, you're free to zoom.
So Scott says the dark red part in the middle of the ctenophore's stomach is pigmented to block the bioluminescent prey it has eaten.
Well,
That's
there you
pretty
go.
cool.
Too fast.
Sure.
There's another squat lobster coming up the wall.
Certainly looks like the same animal we've been looking at.
I think it's the same species. 10 arms.
You have a little time.
Yep.
But you are
Same
gonna need to
color.
push out in front of me.
Yeah.
Same pose.
Can you zoom in further,
But there are a
pilot?
lot of them.
Still
Yep,
25
you're
meters
clear.
off the wall, so you have
Zooming
time.
in.
Yep.
Go ahead, Bridge. No, thank you. So there's 5 meters left in this move.
That's wonderful, guys. Thank you.
Okay, when you're happy, video.
Yeah, let's move our way forward if we can, simply because if we,
How much time left?
I'd like to get as close as we can to the crest of this feature as we can before we're done.
Full wide.
I didn't think we'd get up this far, but we have, and that's great. So
Coming up.
that is a really, really unstable seafloor. Steep, unstable,
I've got us centered
That's
up
why
on
there's no
ship
hard
track,
pretty
just so you know.
spectacular.
or sessile
Okay.
animals.
Well, that's right, and the crinoids are swimmers, so they can move around and light, and when things get unstable for them, they can move.
That's right. Oh, there's a gorg.
But there must be something about them, something that wants them to stick around this part of
That's
the world.
interesting. You have time to look at it.
There's a
Alrighty.
couple of
I think
gorgonians.
so.
Yeah, let's keep moving. Let's see if we can get up. Let's get a macro
does the
view
ship just
here if
stop?
we can. Like to get up,
Lots of stuff to see here.
Yeah.
like to get
Check
up
out this
near the
yellow one.
top
I
of
haven't
this
heard
if we can.
anything, so.
Upper right. Let's see if we can get a zoom up there on the rim. See that coral up on the upper right?
I see it.
Let me know when.
I've
It's
got
become
plenty of
very
range to the
steep,
slope, Carl,
right?
and I got a 70-degree angle on the tilt.
Yeah, it looks like this
Plenty of
is.
delta. You've got time.
Looks like this is pretty much the top of.
You know, the
steep
average
part.
slope here might be 20 degrees, but some of these slopes, you can see a classic slide scar to the left there, are a lot steeper than 20 degrees. We're looking at, near the lip of this feature, we're looking at very, very steep slopes. Some of them might be 50, 60 degrees or more.
All right, video. Free to zoom.
Zooming in.
This looks like a new one.
It's partial.
It's very planar.
Okay, you can frame it up.
Showing in further. And that's partial.
That's not a Paramaricia?
I'm not sure. There's a lot more branches than last
Zoom in
ones
a
we were
little
looking
further
at.
so they can
This is RV
identify.
Go for it.
Negative. It's okay.
Very nice, folks.
Yes. You can see this ophiuroid very
Are
clearly.
you drifting
Yep,
away, pilot?
Paramaricia.
Drifting toward. Can't
I
tell.
think I'm drifting
That's
away
correct.
based on
That's
the
good.
light.
That's good. Let's keep rolling here
Thanks,
for the
guys.
last 5 minutes or so.
Okay,
out.
what?
Very nice, very photogenic one though. It's a good spot for it. And it's on the divide between these slide scars, so that might be the reason that it's been able to survive there, even though the slope is quite active.
Okay.
See, there's the slide scar. That's a classic gravitational collapse right in
Oh
front
yeah,
of
I see it.
you. That whole part of the slope is just given
ship
way
is
and has
stopped,
said
correct?
goodbye.
Correct.
That's where the rubble comes from downslope,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And if a coral were sitting there and the slide let go, it would not be a happy coral.
Right. There was a bamboo coral at the base, but it seemed to
So
have
as I
got missed.
followed that ridge up, I ended up kind of north of you, huh?
Yes.
Again, crinoids are the most dominant species up here.
We're now at a depth of 1,691 meters. We've climbed over 300 meters in the course of this dive. We're nearing the top of the second inner wall facing the Keathley Canyon. This is a west-facing wall on the east side of the canyon. And we're seeing a largely barren area. We've got a few corals, many swimming
There's more
crinoids,
slope. If we wanna
and a
climb,
lot
we
of
should,
unstable
get the ship
geology
moving
as
some
we
more,
get
but
near the
I think
top
we
of
only
the...
have 3 minutes, yeah.
Got about 3 minutes left in the dive. We're just transiting up near the top.
Yeah.
As is always true in these dives, we'd love to stay longer, but we're already overstaying our welcome today by about 15 minutes. We thank you for staying with us throughout the dive. We've seen some fascinating biology, not least of which are all these crinoids that are sitting up here on the upper part of this wall. More crinoids than I personally have ever seen in one spot. And the geology's gotten pretty interesting too. And I think we've been looking for elusive evidence for brine seepage over the course of the day, and although we haven't seen any active brine escape, I think we are now looking at channels that suggest at least intermittent brine seepage from this slope.
Looks like another
yeah,
coral
it looks
with
like
a-
the same, just
yeah.
from a different angle.
Yeah.
Okay. If you stay at that zoom, I saw... Yeah.
The students in here are certainly enjoying all the good biology that you've been able to conjure up here at the end of the dive for us.
Yeah, that's what we do. We conjure for audiences.
Okay,
The
go in
ocean
on
is
this.
always very
That's
amenable
the
to
pink
us
one there.
conjuring.
That's what I saw.
Can we zoom on those corals before we take off?
Let me know when.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be about it, I think.
Yeah. This one's
Yeah,
bright
they
pink.
want to keep
Start
going,
zooming.
they say.
Yeah,
They
it's
want you to try and get those three guys to start swimming, those crinoids.
yeah. There you go. Got two different types there. It looks like.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this pink one is. Looks different.
Let's get a zoom on the pink one, guys. We've seen the Paramaricia before. Let's go right and zoom on the
Okay.
pink one if we have time.
Going right.
Pull back, pilot.
Yeah.
You can tell which
Looks
way the
quite
current
stable.
comes on this
We'll zoom on
sidewall.
Sirius HD.
By the way the
Yeah,
Okeanos
that's
are lined
that's
up.
virtually
Nice shot.
that's
Thanks, co-pilot.
virtually a sheer slope now that we're looking at. That's I didn't expect slopes this steep up here, based on the bathymetry we had.
Yeah.
Okay, video, let's start going in on the pink one.
Zooming in.
We might need a side angle for him, but
Going to be hard on a vertical wall, though.
Paragorgia, our bubblegum coral.
Yeah,
That's
there
what
we go.
Scott
That's
says.
what I thought. I mean, there were a lot of these in the East Coast U.S. canyons. Paragorgia was everywhere.
Paragorgia.
Yeah, and you know why they call it bubblegum coral, obviously. Nice bubblegum color to it. That's good, guys. Let's come wide again, and as we finish up, let's pan up a little bit and see if we can see up near the top of this slope.
Full wide on ROV.
Copy that.
And I know we're at 1445 or 1645 CDT, so you let us know when you feel like you've got to call it a day, and we'll do that.
Out on Sirius. Just about to say that. Watch lead.
I had a feeling you would.
Full wide on Sirius.
It's always at the most interesting part of the dive that you guys say to me, it's time to go.
Time to go.
But we were lucky. The last two dives have been cut short by issues with sargassum weed and problems with our main engines or thrusters. We have not had a problem like that today, so that's all good. And we want to thank you, all of you, once again for sticking with us here.
Pulling out of here.
Particularly this last part of the dive. We've had some corals. We've had a forest of crinoids. We've had some interesting steep slopes in the geology. And this is going to be
positive 0.7, yeah.
the conclusion of dive 4 of Expedition 3 of the Okeanos Explorer Expedition 3 to the Gulf of Mexico. And we thank you all. I think we're going to have, I'm not sure about the post-dive call, but we'll get back to you shortly and let you know. Kelly will let you know. Thanks again, folks.
Each other in our butt cams. Co-pilot standing by on a winch.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for. I hope you got most of what you wanted.
So our delta's only 10. I'm pretty much going to pass. Well, I'm off to your port.
Yeah, they all say it was great.
Wonderful. Well, hey, you're all going to be the future generation of ocean explorers, so get ready for that.